Guys, I want to thank you very much for coming. This is really a very sad day in West Virginia, but I want to talk a little bit about so many of the things that were done this week that West Virginians should be very proud of. Let me start by saying that the First Lady and I are praying for the family of Stephen and Heather, and we know that Stephen was a good man. One thing I learned about today is that Stephen was in the Marine Corps. He actually got a Purple Heart. I didn't know that before today. He's got 2 children, 17-year-old child and a child that's going to turn 14 soon. I had a chance to talk with Heather, and I'm going to say all of West Virginia is behind this family. We know how difficult it was to go through this, and we know that Stephen is the quintessential West Virginian, first serving our nation in the Marine Corps, and then by all accounts, listening to the people that were there, really seemed to want to do everything to save the lives of the other miners. That's a true West Virginian, and I think every West Virginian can thank him for his incredible service today. So that's probably the most important thing that I wanted to convey. A lot of effort was put in trying to save Stephen's life over the last number of days. What we've learned is that there was a massive quantity of water that had come into the mine, estimates of many tens of millions of gallons of water, and we believe probably over 30 million gallons has been drained. That's a lot of water. And at about 6 o'clock or so in the morning, the water level had gotten down low enough for the rescue crew to be able to go through. After they started the process and they had spotted something that then they moved toward, they ultimately found the body, and that was reported back up at 7:37. I want to thank all the incredible people that did work this week. This was a rescue mission, and people put themselves at risk to try to save someone's life. It's pretty incredible. You talk about the divers. They went in harm's way. This is not an easy dive, and there were multiple diver groups who were willing to sacrifice everything to save their fellow man. That's what humanity is. It's pretty incredible, and so I thank those people, and also all the folks who were down in the mine. There were 15 people usually down in the mine, and they were alternating shifts coming in, usually in for about 12 hours at a time, and they're waiting patiently for the water levels to come down, and they're measuring it. Water started coming down at about 1 inch an hour, and then it moved to 2 inches an hour, and it got to the point where this morning the folks were able to go in and to really conduct the search and find the body. You know, this has been a very challenging process, but I want to thank so many people who were very involved, including our own mine safety director, Frank Foster, who was spending so much of his time here over the last 5 days. The folks at the company. There was a lot of collaboration between the federal officials, the state officials, the company, because everyone had one object in mind: rescue the miner. And while the result was obviously terrible, I can tell you that people worked day and night to try to make that happen. Now, we're not going to have the answers to every question tonight. We know that this afternoon the body was taken to the medical examiner, so we're not going to speculate as to all the things. We're going to let them do their job, and then as we have more information next week, we'll relay that to you. We're going to now move to a new phase of this, and I want to make sure that we're appropriately honoring Stephen and his family and all miners who have died, really doing some incredibly difficult and sometimes treacherous work for the citizens of our state and for our country. There are going to be a lot of things we'll have to talk about in the next few weeks. There will be investigations that open up beginning next week. But right now, our focus is on the family, and our prayers go out to Steve and Heather and everyone who's been involved. It's a big loss in West Virginia tonight, but I sense that the West Virginia spirit is even stronger because of the sacrifice that Stephen made and the sacrifices that all the people put in in recent days because they know that they've put themselves last to put their colleagues first. What more would a great West Virginian do? So just wanted to come back to the mine and have a chance to talk to some people and thank folks for the work that they've done. And I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Okay, what was your reaction? I mean, this was a heroic story. What was your reaction when you first heard it?
Look, as I started to learn more information, I knew that Stephen was doing some pretty incredible things. I mean, one, trying to make sure as the foreman that he's getting his people out, right? I mean, we don't know the full story yet in terms of the sweep of the water that came in, but based upon the reports of tens of millions of gallons of water coming in, you can use your imagination to know how horrible, how horrific that is. And so when someone is looking out for their colleague instead of themselves, that's something that we should always celebrate. That's the quintessential West Virginian I'm talking about. So, obviously, this is a really difficult time. But I've been encouraged by how West Virginians come together. Our spirit cannot be broken, and people have been praying for this miner, and they know that this was a miner that was trying to do the right thing. And then today I learned that he was a veteran, United States Marine Corps, earned the Purple Heart. It's a guy that's been selfless. So I want to celebrate him. And while it's a very sad day for his family and for West Virginia, we also celebrate his sacrifice and what it means and how people like Stephen have helped put West Virginia ahead.
Do we know where this water came from yet?
I'm not going to speculate about all the issues, but I know that there was a lot of water in the nearby mine. Obviously, there was a breach in the wall that led to the gushing of the water. But I think a lot of that's going to come out in the weeks and months ahead as there's a full investigation by the state and by the federal government. And obviously, as that information comes out, we're going to release it to people.
And is there anything else that you would want people to know about this heartbreaking situation?
Well, I want people to know that everything we're hearing about Stephen is he did so much good, and he was a man of service. And I'm so grateful to get a little bit of a glimpse into his life. I never met him, but some people have been calling me and saying really positive things about him. And so I want to remember the positive parts. That's what we try to do during times of tragedy. We try to come together. I also want to note that, a lot of times stories get written and people, go back and forth or two sides. Sometimes social media can become toxic. I will tell you, people really coming together to celebrate Stephen and his life. And that means a lot because this is a time when we should be emphasizing all the positives and rallying behind a true West Virginian. So that's what I want to remember and take away.